You mentioned that you had to hop off and you were losing some muscle. I'm curious, since you've been in this space for a long time. Obviously, steroids can help an individual reach their natural genetic potential and then surpass their genetic potential. But from what you've seen, if a person does choose to hop off and not take anything anymore, and let's say they don't take anything, let's say they don't even go on a TRT dose, they just stop. They do what they need to do to stop safely and they stop. How much of that do they keep? I mean, it's probably individual, but can an individual expect to have a good amount of kept muscle from when they were using steroids, or do they go back to what their peak would have been if they stopped taking it?
That is a very individualistic thing.
Okay.
I personally know somebody who was a good friend of mine when I was in undergrad that came off everything to have kids, and his testosterone was super low, like below 30 or something like that. But his regimen from diet and training and cardio and everything he was doing, he probably lost a little bit of weight, but stayed super lean, stayed muscular.
And he was pretty big?
Yeah. Oh, he was in probably 240, 250. He was a big guy. He was a small guy. I mean, he had been doing things for a while, but when it was time, but he was able to successfully, use fertility meds to have kids and maintain his mass. So for me, one of the biggest issues, if I'm being completely honest, is the lack of motivation to go to the gym helped or allowed me to lose more muscle weight than I wanted to. But inherently, not having high testosterone, having high estrogen kind of changes your body composition to store fat versus to burn it and, drops muscle mass. Because like we talked about, you don't really need muscle anymore. Like your body's holding on to it and you have to exercise to use it. But but we're not hunters and gatherers. We don't need to carry it. So your body will use it as fuel first instead to break down. So that's why a lot of people just lose that initial, whatever it is, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. Like I lost a lot, but I also, came off after 9 years of TRT. So without using HCG, which is my fault.
Yeah. The drive and motivation thing you mentioned is actually a very big deal. I don't think a lot of people think about, like, if let's say that before you started something, you weren't really finding that much motivation to go work out, you start and now you're motivated, and then you come off and your motivation goes down and you're not training enough to stimulate that muscle tissue, you might just go back to where you were because you never liked the gym in the first place.
Right. That's not the case with me.
Oh, no, I'm not saying with you. No, I'm just saying in general. Like the Mark's talked to me about the mental aspect of that stuff, and that's wild.
Yeah. I mean, I have had plenty of personal experience with friends that have never gone to the gym ever, and the first time they went to the gym, they wanted to take something, and that was their motivation to go to the gym. And then those are the guys that either fall in love with the gym and continue to do stuff, or when they come off, they don't go to the gym anymore. So yeah, it's real. I mean, and Mark's an intense guy, obviously, and Mark loves to train. I've trained with Mark before, and he's also one of those genetic freaks that just stays ripped year round and all that stuff. So he's right about that.
Oh, I was meaning this Mark.
Oh,
but I mean Mark too.
I thought you meant that Mark. Well, yeah, Mark. Same thing. You're dedicated to it. It's part of your life. But if it was never part of your life, and then you hopped on gear and it didn't become part of your life, then there's no point. You would just lose it and possibly even be more spot than you were before.
What does testosterone do to our brain? Are you pretty well informed on that?
I know that it can affect your brain. It can affect you. Or I don't think the quote roid rage is a real thing. I think it brings out different aspects of your personality, but it definitely has a detrimental effect long-term on your brain. There are papers that show correlations between high testosterone levels and certain different types of brain issues. I off the top of my head, I can't remember, but I've definitely read studies on that. So if you do a quick Google search on that, you should be able to come up with something that shows like high androgen levels will affect this part of your brain or that. But I think that if you're an asshole, it'll make you a bigger asshole. But if you're not just going to turn into this giant asshole.
Yeah.
But your emotions obviously change. Just like an estrogen, they change. So it's just a swing.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel because we continue to bring you peak content on this channel. Obviously, you guys are here. You guys have watched the whole video. So like, comment, subscribe. All right? See you later.